giving directions.
Dorothy, I gave Kate the directions over the phone.
And who are you, Rand McNally? You couldn't make a mistake.
Shall I set this down someplace?
No, Rose. Go to the corner and open a stand.
Dorothy.
I'm sorry. It's just that I'm...
Discard already. I'm 80. I'd like to live long enough to see the next 10.
Don't need to, Ma. Gin.
You're taking advantage. You know I'm whacked out on blood pressure medicine.
Honey, if the medicine bothers you, change the prescription.
I like being whacked out.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. My date...
In Queens, it's called shotgun.
Well, maybe that's why he left, because you forced him into it.
Rose, he left me 38 years later for a stewardess that he met on a business trip to Hawaii. It was her first flight. They said on arrival, give the passengers a lay. She got, did you hear that? So happy.
Now I have to go to the bathroom again. You know, when I get nervous, I have to go all the time. That's why I'm getting married here at the house. Public bathrooms are so difficult for me. I wash my hands so thoroughly, and then I find it so hard to get up.
You were asleep.
You never know. You girls shouldn't sit out here in the sun.
Blanche, we've been so worried about you.
I know.
Oh, I'm so glad you're out.
I'm sorry if I worried you.
Oh, sweetheart, how are you?
I'm okay.
And I'm not saying this because she is my daughter, but she was the best Abraham Lincoln the third grade ever saw. No, when she freed the second grade, there was not a dry eye in the house.
Somehow I just can't picture Kate as Abraham Lincoln.
Now, Stan, do me a favor. Take off your hair and hold it up to...
Dorothy, what do you mean sneaking up on me like that? You scared me half to death.
I'm sorry, Rose. Next time I walk into a dark room in the middle of the night, I'll send a mariachi band ahead of me. What are you doing up?
Well, I thought I heard a strange noise.
What kind of strange noise?
The business. I don't know what I'm going to do. 22 years of sweat and blood, and suddenly it's all flushed down the toilet like a snotty ball of Kleenex.
You could always write poetry for a living. I'm sorry. I know how devastated you must be. I have one question, though.
I can still manage the alimony payments.
No, that was not my question. I was wondering if possibly we could discuss this maybe tomorrow. You see, I have plans to go out this
Dorothy,
evening.
please. I'm afraid to be alone tonight. My world is crumbling around me. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what I might do.
Oh, I do. You'll watch an old Barnaby Jones, eat a half-gallon...
What would Mrs. Claus say?
Not to mention Mrs. Kleckner.
Who was that? He's a Santa Claus.
You're kidding. I thought it was Fidel Castro. I meant, what was he doing here?
Blanche picked him up at the mall.
Well, I can't help it. There's something about a man and a Santa Claus. I'm not going to eat all of this at once, Sophia. There's an I Love Lucy marathon on tonight. I'm setting up for 12 straight hours of classic TV.
I never cared for that show. Every single episode, Lucy said the same thing. Ricky, why can't I be in the show? Ricky, why can't I be in the show? Why couldn't she be in the show?
Like to me, old Charlie was a little on the cheap side. I'll say. Oh, Charlie was a wonderful man, but he could squeeze a nickel till the buffalo pooped.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's something to the power of suggestion. Excuse me.
You see my teddy bear, Fernando? He's missing. I've had him since I was 6 years old. I have to find him. I just have to.
Calm down now, honey. He's just a toy.
Fernando is not just a toy. He's a family heirloom. I've had him for as long as I can remember. I don't know what I'd do without him.
Rose, now don't panic. Look, we'll fight.
Hard to say. Depends how late the guys from Miami Vice want to party. Later.
I don't believe that. But then what can I expect? His father's a Yankee. I guess I really should have given him some money.
You should have given him a smack.
I don't believe in hitting children.
Hey, Ma, that's not unreasonable.
Please, they're 85 years old. It takes Mildred 10 minutes to roll down her stockings.
Girls, you'll never guess what I got in the mail today.
If it's another one of those adult toys in the back of a sleazy magazine, I'm not interested.
I I am. Let me see it.
Ma.
Brother Angelo, he was at your wedding?
He's the priest who lives in Sicily.
He's going to Brooklyn next week to visit the family and insisted on stopping off in Miami one day to wish you two a happy 40th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, but we're not married anymore.
Which brings me to the lasagna al forno.
Where does it go in the meantime?
To Connecticut. How do I know where it goes?
With me, the minute it goes in my mouth, I balloon up. I can go out to dinner, and in the middle of the meal, my pants are cutting off my circulation so bad my feet are turning blue.
Well, I just want to be svelte for Barry.
I finally called it quits at the deli. Sold it all. Locks, stock, and barrel. Get it? Locks.
He made up that joke yesterday, but it's just as funny now as it was then.
Some jokes are timeless. So tell me, Al, what do you intend?
But then who wouldn't? He's sensitive, he's caring, and he thinks I'm neater than hard salami.
Did he actually tell you that, Will?
I shouldn't have repeated it. It was said in a moment of
Well, like I told you.
I don't think the woman at the employment agency was interested in my legs.
Grow up. Don't you watch TV? 80% of the women in prime time are switch hitters.
Ma, TV soap operas aren't real life.
I'm not talking characters. I'm talking actors.
We're in the charm of a Cary Grant.
I'm not surprised. The woman drinks grain alcohol out of a measuring cup.
Here's the tea.
This is just hot water.
We're afraid because our mothers taught us to be afraid.
For survival, Ma. They had to. I mean, what's a mother supposed to say? Don't be afraid of strangers. Eat their candy. Get into their cars.
Well, he made me feel better.
Me too.
I was just thrilled to be out of there. He had 2 dead fish in his tank.
maybe it isn't a heart attack.
Oh, Rose, honey, she's 80. At 80, something's got to go.
Well, not necessarily. My grandparents lived to their 90s. One was 102.
In Minnesota.
So?
Rose, you know how they freeze dead people to preserve them and then bring them back?
Little guard dog. I'm here for the audition.
Forget it. You force your way into the show every year, and every year it's a total disaster. You can't sing, you can't dance, you can't tell jokes. I'm sorry, you can't be in the show.
You can't be in the show. You can't be in the show. Who are you, Ricky Ricardo?
Leptazole.
You were there? Don't tell me where I went. I went to heaven. I saw the golden light and some angels in white robes with harps. I thought I was at Saks at Christmas. Then I saw your father.
Really?
He was surrounded by women. He's in heaven.
Did you see God?
In the end, anyhow, what's it matter?
Yeah. I mean, what does it matter? If you know that you're going to end up dying anyway, you might as well do what you want to do.
Like having ice cream on the chocolate cake.
You know, I knew someone who went to this fabulous restaurant in Paris and just had watercress for lunch.
A big bonus at work. And guess what I've decided to do with it?
What?
I'm gonna have my breasts enlarged.
You're not serious, Blanche.
Oh, sure I am. Breasts are back in fashion. And what God...
Whoa!
Sophia, were you looking?
No, actually, that's when you stepped off. But I know it's not a good sign when the first rebound goes into the low 120s.
Oh, Blanche, honey, don't worry. All you need is a little spring tune-up.
I suppose you do.
Obviously, the scale is broken.
I'm not surprised after that kind of punishment.
All right, Rose, you think you're so tiny? Why don't you get weighed?
Oh, I don't need to, Dorothy. I never gain weight.
Show us, Rose.
Well, okay, but I can promise you I weigh exactly the same as I did on my wedding day.
Dorothy. Don't smash the Play-Doh.
Sorry.
Well, as far as doctors go, you've certainly seen the best.
The best don't exist anymore. The best are dead.
Well, I don't know about that.
Enjoy the...
Hi.
Hello, Stan.
Come on in, I ordered up some refreshments. After all,
Oh, it must be at least 103, and the mall was impossible.
Did you get something for the grandchildren?
Oh, please. You know, Robbie wants a Batman hat. I went to 6 different stores. They were all sold out. I finally went to one store where they had one hat left, and another woman saw it. Oh, I can't...
Oh, I can't believe it. It was only yesterday you were selling us cookies.
Now she's giving them away.
Mary, honey, have you told your father?
Well, I tried, but since Mom died, I don't know. We're just on different wavelengths.
Well, honey, what about the baby's father? I mean, after all, it's his responsibility, too.
Mr. Big.
I know that guy. That's just a stage name.
Ma, I don't like this new crowd that you're hanging out with. Now, why are you with these people?
Has to look good at this wedding.
Look, Ma, I don't know how to break this to you.
Gently, I'm old.
Giuseppe Mangiacavallo has had a fabulous life. He's in his 80s, is a multimillionaire, and enjoys perfect health.
Well, it's a very slow-acting curse.
So it would appear.
The net. Well, hello there. Anything I can do for you?
At least now she asks.
Good afternoon. Sorry to bother you. I'm Agent Bell with the Secret Service.
Well, won't you come right in?
Thank you, Mrs. Devereaux.
Do we have to do this now? A nun has died. More than a nun. Sister Agnes was my mother's best friend. Oh, she's out there alone now. She hasn't said a word since we left the cemetery. I have no idea how she's going to react to this.
I've made a decision.
Sophia, how was your date last night?
Tony Del Vecchio is a dreamboat. I wouldn't mind glancing over at the night table and seeing his teeth next to mine.
Ma, please. I mean, it's probably silly, but I'm not that comfortable hearing about your
So many books.
That's why they call it a library. It's from the Latin librarius, which means so many books. I'm sure you'll find something you want.
I do believe you're right. I want you to say this afternoon when we're interviewing new roommates. Oh, God, it'd be so much easier if she didn't have to meet you people.
Well, I hope you find somebody soon. You know, actually, you're going to need 2 new tenants.
I'm not living with you and Stan.
Yes, you are, Ma. I want you with us, and besides, you can't afford to live alone.
Blanche is letting...
Ma, I think this will be good for you. Mr. Porter seems like a nice man. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun there.
And don't forget the money. I haven't had a paycheck since 1942, and then I blew it all on war bonds.
Well, at least you got it back.
No, Italian war bonds. I fell for their slick advertising.
Silly water retaining rose. She was discovered by the movies. I was discovered by a print ad photographer and the shoots today.
Oh, Blanche, haven't you had enough problems with photographers? Remember the last time? I mean, sure, the pictures turned out...
Yeah, she's guilty. I saw her.
Please sit down.
Mrs. Petrillo, where were you on the night of September 4th, 1985?
Did you see Awakenings? Throw a ball at me. How the hell should I know? I don't even remember what color underwear I'm wearing.
Ma, the beginning of September.
How's Sophia?
Well, she's over that crazy idea about Sicily, but she's still very concerned about going to jail.
Who wouldn't be? It's a terrifying prospect to think about. Prison, the coldness of it, the steel bars, the wedges of cheese hanging overhead.
83, close one. 68, whoa!
What is it?
You!
What about me?
You're dead.
Say what?
I told you you're dead. You must be. It says so in the paper.
Blanche Devereaux, age 68.
68?
Oh, that's terrible.
Took Blanche out into orbit where I never would have had the guts to go.
Drew, did you see the possibilities of Blanche immediately when you read the pilot?
When I read the pilot, I called my agent and I said, I knew this was a hit the minute it was delivered to my door. I could tell before I opened it. I just knew it. And then when I read...
Starting Tuesday, and Blanche is busy with her granddaughter, and Rose is... Well, I think a nurse is the way to go.
I don't need a nurse. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself.
Oh, really? Then why have you been running me ragged doing things for you?
Honestly, it tickles me.
Look, Ma, I'm hiring...
With wanting to be liked. And Blanche, do you remember what I looked like as a kid?
Oh, yes, I do. You were a beautiful child.
I was not. I was short and fat with braces and acne. And I used to think to myself, oh, I would give anything to be just like my Aunt Blanche. To be pretty and popular with lots of...
It's more than something you really want to do. Anyway, I've always regretted missing out on that one night of history. Oh, Blanche, I never got to see them. And the closest I'll ever get is Beatlemania. It's not really the Beatles, but it's an incredible simulation.
What off for you? I kissed a fool. I helped a holy man. And I witnessed the betrayal of a loved one. That's a lot of work for a woman who nods off all day on the couch.
Ma, please, please, if somebody has to tell Rose, please let it be me.
I'm sorry, but that won't satisfy
Most adorable dance I think I've ever seen. Rose, honey, could I look at your hat for a minute?
Oh, I know it. You're right. It's just terrible. If I get up in the middle of the night, I eat.
Wait a minute. You know something? We're being selfish. I mean, Rose's problem is more important than my date.
Am I losing 2 pounds?
3 pounds.
She has to face reality.
I am.
You should go and stick to your guns.
Right. I've made my decision. I'm going to stand by it. No matter what happens, I'm not going to turn back. I forgot my raincoat. Silly. Now what'd you forget? I forgot it. Excuse me. We're supposed to have reservations for the second show. The name is Devereaux.
Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, I don't seem to have you listed.
Oh, well, maybe it's under the name of Hollingsworth.
Hollingsworth? Mm-hmm. You not here to see Big Daddy Hollingsworth?
Yes, we are.
I'm sorry, you just missed...
You're making this up.
I am not. My grandfather told me that story. Of course, he also used to call me by my sister's name. And sometimes he'd wear his underwear on the outside of his pants. I guess he wasn't a... Well, 3?
Do we hear 4? Well, that was more like a 10-day, 2-week span.
For me, that's a lifetime span.
Not even.
Do you realize I'll be 65 years old when this child graduates?
Believe who's going to be there. Dom DeLuise.
Wow!
Lonnie Anderson.
Wow!
Charles Nelson Riley. Charles Nelson Riley.
Wow, who else?
John Forsythe.
Mr. John Forsythe.
Now, what can I do for the senior statesman of the group?
I'll let that pass because you have the upper hand. Officer, my friends and I are totally innocent.
I'm innocent, too.
Me too.
We're all innocent.
Quiet, you trash.
That's it. I don't want to hear another word.
Oh, Cinderella's back from the ball and her 3 wicked roommates are jealous.
We are not jealous, Ma. We are angry. You left us sitting in jail.
Hey, I sent over the bail money. You were out an hour later. I think that was just about...
And I get that way. All kinds of feelings tumbling all over themselves. Well, you know, you're not quite blue because you're not really sad. And although you're a little bit jealous, you wouldn't say you're green with envy. And every now and then you realize you're kind of scared, but you'd hardly call yourself yellow. I hate that feeling. I just hate it. And I hate the color magenta.
Mrs. Claxton, we want you to know we all appreciate you coming down here in person to help us save the tree.
I'm not here to save it. I'm here to make sure they tear it down. I hate trees. I hate people.
Well, Mrs. Claxton, Rose told us you said you were going to help us.
That's right.
And now you're not?
That's right.
Well, why did you lie? If she spits up pea soup and her head spins around, we're in big trouble.
It is the consensus of the committee that the promoter's petition for the outdoor Menudo concert be denied. Next on the agenda is the proposal.
My first house didn't cost that much.
Mr. Pfeiffer, we have already told you, we are bereaved on a budget. Now, if you can't accommodate us, we'll find someone who can.
You know, the Avante Supreme is a big seller. That retails for just $3,000.
What do you call this one?
A pine box.
How much? Would you feel like going to an early matinee? Oh, that sounds great. I remember when we first got our milking machine. I hooked Molly up to it, flipped the switch, and she dropped like a rock. Oh, well, luckily she wasn't electrocuted. After that, she was no good for milking. But she certainly became the most popular.
It was in the shower. Where have you been? I thought you were taking a nap.
I went to the video store.
Ma, I told you I'd go.
Forget it. The last time you brought back 7 brides for 7 brothers. You know how disappointed I was to...
Class president in the 3rd grade.
Why, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, his campaign slogan was vote for me and I'll show you my wee-wee. He won by a landslide. I'm going.
Want a cup of coffee?
Maybe I will have a cup of coffee.
Oh, good.
Rose, about last night, I should never have said anything.
Well, you only said what you were feeling.
But his days are numbered. When the revolution comes, he's the second to be shot.
Who's the first?
Morales, my next-door neighbor who knocked up my sister.
Well, this is dandy. Just dandy. I knew I should never have let you two...
They're in the bureau drawer.
Wait me.
I'm starting to root for the revolution.
Well, we're here now. Come on, let's make the best of it. Yeah, maybe this room isn't a total loss. Look here, a vibrating bed. Come on, let's give it a try. Come on, it'll be fun. Sure. How long have they been gone?
Over 4 hours.
You don't think anything happened to them?
No. I think they probably just stopped to rest.
Yeah, or maybe they're looking for something to carry the water.
Just make yourself comfortable.
Oh, no, I couldn't. I'm never comfortable. You wouldn't know it because I'm not lifting my arms, but I've nearly sweated through this suit.
I guess Rose forgot to mention the reception tonight's black tie.
I have it in my pocket.
Brains in your ascot? Where'd you get the idea I was a wealthy widow?
Oh, Jerry Giordano.
I just told him that so he'd take me to bingo.
You are the wealthy widow?
I can't even keep a minimum balance in my checking account.
My regards to your lovely family.
I don't know what you're so upset about.
What matter, your suitcase?
Right. Picture it. New York City, 1956. I was a young widow returning to Sicily. There I was on the boat alone, watching Lady Liberty grow smaller in the distance, when suddenly I heard a voice from the vicinity of my knees.
Seems to be complete.
Boy, what rotten luck. I guess I was pushing myself too hard, trying to do too many things for myself. Could you hand me the remote control from the top of the television?
I think the best idea is for you to get some sleep now.
Maybe you're right. Wake me for lunch, okay, Dave?
Right here on this stage.
Pardon me? Oh. I'm sorry, that was just an ad lib.
Blanche Devereaux?
Just a moment. Yes, but you're ruining ours. You get phone calls at all hours of the night. You have people running in and out of this house, and you don't do a thing to help out around here anymore.
Oh, so that's what this is about. You're just upset because I'm not the old Rose sitting around the house doing things for everybody else.
Now, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Rose, honey, we're only thinking of you.
What, too? Much too subtle for this evening. Dorothy, put on something flashy, something colorful.
That's really not me, Blanche.
I know, honey, but take a chance, be a woman.
It's an awful lot to ask, Blanche, but I'll try.
Good. Go on. All right, Rose, come on, let's go see about...
Cage was empty. Where could she be?
And a pretty darn good one. Hey, Rose, what you got there?
Exhibit A.
You know, I like Rose. When a woman throws herself on a platter of chicken and screams murderer, she is not playing with a full set of bocce balls. I'm getting out of here just in time.
Made that the theme of the party. We all dressed as Vikings with helmets and spears. And we all crowded into her little room up over the barn. And she walked in and lit a candle. And we yelled, "Surprise!" And she dropped dead right there.
Mario.
Why don't you get a rubber hose and whack me around until I'm razor sharp?
Ma, I have a problem. I'm worried about tomorrow. I don't know whether or not I should go on that mission.
Dorothy, for 50 years you've come to me with all your problems. Who should I take to the prom? Where should I go to college? Do you think I should marry Stan? These were in lieu of a story, would you settle for a very wise observation?
Oh, yes, Ma.
Al's a good guy, and he makes you happy. And if you're doing it for that reason alone, it's worth it. It's my guess that you're also doing it because in your heart you feel it's the right thing.
Thanks, Ma. That means a lot to me.
Good. Just for being too thin.
Come on, girls.
Okay, thanks for coming over.
Bye, honey.
Have a
gonna
nice
be
time in a keeping movie.
Hello, lady.
Bye, George.
Hi, George.
Bye, George.
Ah, Sophia.
Hi, George. Bye, George.
Hi, honey.
Bye.
Sweetheart! Whoa, what are you doing home?
Where have you been? You know what time it is?
9 o'clock.
In your dreams. You take the wrong bus again? Never mind, you didn't miss anything.
What do you think you're doing?
I think I'm crocheting, but to tell you the God's honest truth, I wouldn't swear to it.
Fight.
No, I saw it. I was here.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any problem now.
I thought you said this was a cold drink. It's lukewarm.
I told him no ice.
You dumb bunch of galoot. What do you think makes it cold?
Your attitude is making me cold, woman, so lighten up and say thank you.
Fired. Rose, we just did that part, honey.
Sorry, I'm not very good at this sort of thing.
Of course, we'll pay you for the rest of the week. Oh, Marguerite, I hope you understand.
I never been fired from any job.
We're really awfully sorry.
Well, you should be.
Sophia.
We're all going to be turned into kumquats.
What is she talking about?
Don't play dumb with me. I've been out to cast a curse myself. Do you think Shelley Long was really tired of playing in Cheers? Wrong, baby. I was tired of her.
We can start the press conference now. Where is Rose?
Oh, she left to pick up her cadet troop.
That's adorable. She wants to share this moment with friends her own age. You must be very proud of your daughter.
My daughter?
Friends her own age. What?
Yourself. This is today's poll. Blanche, I never expected that they would figure out it was you in that picture. I felt terrible when they did.
Well, how do you think I feel? People think I slept with you.
Blanche, all my life.
Driving until we've gone over all the rules in the driving manual.
What's to go over?
How much distance should there be between you and a fire hydrant?
What am I, a poodle? Oh, morning, girls.
Morning.
Hey, what got you two up and out so early?
Now, you have to go in there and set Sven straight, and the longer you wait, the harder it'll get.
I know you're right, and I will.
Of course she's right. You know, I once made the same mistake myself. I was dating a guy my parents could not stand. He used to come over to the house during
Audit people. It doesn't mean there's a problem.
There's a problem.
Oh, that's too bad. Pass the meatballs.
Dorothy, I take total blame for this. I know it's a bummer, but no matter what comes down, we're in this together, babe. Of course, I won't know until we actually reconstruct our finances, but the way I figure it, we'd probably have to pay a small fee.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad.
Unless we get... I wanted to be someone, babe. I wanted to be a contender.
Stanley, did you just rent on the waterfront?
You know me so well.
No, I don't. What is this $2,500 deduction?
You know, folks, I've been at this job almost 4 years now, and in that short time, I can honestly say that I have never seen such an inept, clumsy, downright stupid attempt to avoid paying income tax.
Thanks. That means a lot coming from you.
Prize for miracles.
Why do I even ask you?
I'm your mother. I'm going to tell you whether you ask me or not. By the way, the sleeves are too long.
No, I'll ask Rose to shorten them.
If you can find her. Ever since that guy hit town, she spends most of her time out polishing his shillelagh.
My Rose and Bud...
Too tingly and too hot.
Oh, have some juice anyway, Blanche. I'd feel better.
Not that we actually do anything in the studio. Laszlo's been a perfect gentleman so far. I just stand there in front of him in all my luscious nakedness, and so...
Well, I see I must explain. You see, in this statue, I wanted to convey strength and character, so I chose Dorothy.
I knew it!
Then I dropped her.
Like so many before you.
I decided I needed more sensuality and vitality, so I turned to my sketches of...
She's right, Dorothy. Barbara is not very nice. I mean, she looks down on everybody except you, and that's only because you look up to her.
Oh, come on, now that is ridiculous,
You
Rose.
just don't notice how she uses her intelligence to make everybody else look stupid. Like tonight at supper when she asked us to pass the salt in Latin. Oh, I think she cares more about words of choice. It so happens that I am Miss Andra Dickinson. And now, if you don't mind, I would like 2 rooms.
You don't look like Angie Dickinson to me.
I know I have altered my appearance for a very important movie role.
Yeah, it's...
Irreplaceable, you.
Dorothy, I just had a terrible nightmare.
Oh, what was it?
This. Wake it up. Stanley, think of me as the Berlin Wall. Try to climb over me, and you'll know what Bob
Newman. He's a psychiatrist at the Grief Center.
So you're seeing a psychiatrist.
It's about time.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jonathan Newman.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes, may I come in?
Oh, please.
Away.
Every day of my life.
Dorothy, what are you still doing?
You so. The diary. No, not at all. And I'm really shocked that you read it.
Then I guess you're not interested to hear some of the other things she had to say about you.
Not in the slightest.
Uh-huh. Oh, fine. Suit yourself.
It turned up 3 days later.
Where'd it turn up, Dorothy?
Come here.
Okay, Blanche, you landed on sports. Here's the question. What famous football player wore pantyhose?
Wait a minute. My super terrific hearing detects a visitor. It's Mr. Policeman, disguised as Mr. Mailman. Why don't I
I really think you're old.
Dorothy, how's the show going?
Terrible, but better than 30-something.
5, 4, 3, 2. Wasn't that fun, boys and girls?
Oh, hit the bottle, hit the bottle. I am serious. What do you think I should do?
Come on now, Blanche, you know the difference between right and wrong.
Please, and bet she only knows the difference between right and left.
Honey, why are you still wearing your costume?
I didn't have time to change. I couldn't wait to get out of...
Anna, they're worried about you back at the home. I'm afraid you're gonna have to come with me.
Attention! Express to Cedar Grove, River Junction, Northern Falls, now boarding.
For crying out loud, Jacob, there's 3 people here. You could have just pointed to the door.
I just hate the idea of wasting time. I always have, ever since what happened to my neighbor in St. Olaf.
Rose, are you about to educate us on the evils of wasting time by telling a long, tedious St. Olaf story?
Do you know a better way?
Did you deserved it before going back to that high-tension dog-eat-dog pressure pit you work in?
Blanche, I run a miniature golf course.
Your champagne, Miss Devereaux?
Oh, thank you, Walter. You will forgive me if this champagne has a little effect on me. Sometimes just having it sitting on the table sets my...
Best thing a person can do.
That didn't sound right when you said it on our honeymoon, and it doesn't sound right now.
And there goes a ground ball right up the middle. The shortstop should have had that one.
Nice before they do a breast exam.
Unfortunately, they do know I'll never walk again.
Oh. Stan, did you hear that?
Yeah, terrible. You got any gum on you?
Stan, these poor people. How can we take advantage of this thing? If you want to send us a gift, we're registered at Jordan Marsh.
What are you doing?
Sending out the invitations for Sophia's wedding.
Oh, well, listen, forget about that. Well, I might. You want me to take a look?
Forget it.
Listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you like that. I'm just a little uncomfortable here.
Helps if you stuff newspapers under the mattress.
Well, that's not what I meant. I was talking about being here at the shelter.
This is your first...
Charming,
Yes.
irresistible to men.
My God, Clayton, you are me. But I still just can't...
Blanche, I spent a long time lying to myself. It felt a lot better when I stopped.
You might be dying. You were the one who was sensitive and vulnerable.
Blanche is right. At the counseling center, I see cases like this all the time. When people lose loved ones, they sometimes do things they'd never normally do. Take Mrs. Pulaski. When her mother died, she divorced her husband, lost 30 pounds, died.
What I'm going to do. Tomorrow, before the wedding, I'm going to tell Stan I love him.
Well, way to go, Rose. You talked her into doing exactly the opposite of what we wanted her to do.
I guess that's why they took me off the suicide hotline at work.
In a museum, so I understand these things. You see now, for instance, this slash of color of red across the bottom, well, that represents the setting sun, and this jagged blue line, now that signifies the ocean. And then this spot of orange up here in the corner, that stands for the planets and man's eternal struggle against nature and the landfall.
It still doesn't feel right.
Let me tell you a story. Picture it. Sardinia, 1932.
I thought these stories of yours always took place in Sicily.
Can a person go away for the weekend?
Runs a reverse behind the halfback, which gives the quarterback 2 options.
Oh, for God's sake, Rose, Eisenhower used less chalk planning D-Day.
Okay, well then let's just talk about a few things that happened in the last game. Nobody blocked this X.
Billy could have blocked him.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad we're friends again.
Oh, honey, of course we are.
By the way, I have never asked you what it is you all have.
Oh, we're not sure. All we know is it makes your skin blotchy and your eyes puffy and your cheeks swollen and you get heart palpitations.
All good thing for those palpitations. Otherwise,
Side goes, we just take things slow. And if it turns out that we can't be anything more than just good friends, well, that's good enough for me.
I'm a lucky man to have found someone like you.
I feel the same way. If you ask me, people rely too much.
oh, look, what are we sitting around here all depressed about? Just because it's Valentine's Day and our dates dumped us, that the three of us were getting ready to go away on that Valentine's Day cruise with our steadies.
Oh, I remember that. And we were picking up some last-minute odds and ends at the drugstore.
Okay, we have the suntan lotion, chapstick, and half a dozen cheap tawdry romance novels.
Well, then we're all set. We have everything we need for the cruise.
Girls, listen, maybe we don't have everything we need.
But what are we missing?
Well, we are going away for a romantic weekend to the Bahamas with Jeff and Rich and Randy. In this day and age, it might be a good idea to take along some protection.
What kind of protection?
2 armed Pinkerton guards.
They are going to have such a great time. What are you doing?
Oh, just doodling. What do you think?
Let's see. Oh, it's a tiger. With multicolored stripes, wearing a tuxedo, a top hat, and holding a magic wand. Oh, I could be able to help Peppy, too.
Yeah, you can be a constant reminder of what might happen if you spar without headgear.
I mean, I might be able to help him with this. Hey, my name is Anna. My husband's name is Ed. We come from Andalusia and we sell antlers.
This is ridiculous. The important thing is that we get our money.
Tender and compassionate, kindly and sympathetic and caring and understanding.
Stop babbling your yuts. I'll do it. Picture it, Sicily, 1852.
Ma, I am in no mood, and besides, you weren't alive in 1850. I'm so sorry that I dragged her out on the cord and made her run back and forth so hard. I wish it had been me instead of her, because it's all my fault. We might as well take down that banner and put up one that says, "Welcome to the Dorothy Kiltrudy party."
Oh, Dorothy.
Listen, this is not just going to go away, Rose.
I know. But I think the first step is for me to make that call. Tickets? She's leaving me out intentionally.
Rose, they were just misunderstandings. Now, you're overreacting.
I guess so.
Oh, these things happen between sisters all the time. I remember once my sister Virginia wouldn't talk to me for a month, all because I smiled at her boyfriend.
There, listen to Blanche.
Of course, I was skinny dipping on his...
Oh, girls, I'm so glad you're still up. I need to talk to you. I have a problem.
Oh, honey, we know you do. You got to stop buying your hair color now to that 99-cent or less bin at the Pick and Save.
What, the grocery store did it?
That's not a secret. I just forgot to mention it.
I think she means more like the time she told me that she went skinny dipping with your cousin Lars before he gave up the pulpit back in St. Gustav. Say what?
You have no coordination. Obviously, the stories about all your romantic escapades have been greatly exaggerated.
Just what is that supposed to mean?
Blanche, if you can't do a simple dance, how do you expect me to believe that story about you and the flying finale?
Is anybody eating there?
All right, Stanley. Why do you want to borrow the car?
I am involved in a new business venture. Stan's Pizzas. The gimmick is I can deliver a pizza faster to your house than Domino's. There's only one problem.
What?
It's impossible. I cracked up my car trying.
Department store in Fort Lauderdale, and a condominium in Orlando, a baseball team in Tampa, and I think one of the Landa sisters.
But what were you going to tell him? What if he hadn't backed out?
Oh, what difference does that make now? The important thing is we're staying together.
You were going to sell, weren't you?
Damn straight.
Top mental. My daughter may be no spring chicken, and her jaw might crack when she chews. And she may have noticeable trouble digesting raw vegetables. But one thing she's not is mental.
Thanks, Ma. Work it in anyway. What tragedy, Rose?
I can't talk about it.
Fine.
Good. But it had to do with barbecuing elk, a big fire, and someone who lost his balance.
Got it.
Clear as a bell. Pedicure. Well, I'm 80-something, and I've seen more death and dying than any of you. Over the past 5 months, we've seen a perfectly healthy, energetic woman waste away. She can't do anything anymore. So what difference does it make that they don't have a name for it yet? It's still something. There were lots of diseases they didn't have a name for.
Oh, and I'll be helping you. Enrique will get involved and put you on TV only if your age discrimination case gets really ugly and the company tries to discredit you, drag your name through the mud, and make you look stupid.
I guess we can only hope.
Okay, I'll need to get some information from you.
Terry, I'll get my feet wet. Oh, Ken, there won't be like a dozen tiny dogs hopping on hind legs wearing funny hats.
Oh, I wish.
In years.
Honey, you know, anybody would feel out of her league in a room full of college professors. You should have a home field advantage. Why don't you invite them over here?
Dorothy's right. We can create the illusion that you're interested.
You certainly know the way to a man's heart.
I'll just take these in.
Oh, I'll help you.
Who wants birthday cake?
Oh, what's in it?
Oh, it's a secret. And in some countries, a vaccine.
Listen, I'll give you 20,000.
I know, because I've met him. You just thank your lucky stars Rose Nyland is not one of those women.
I never looked at it that way.
Besides, after you get to know Rose, why, you'll... Oh, I spoiled the surprise.
I'm going through the family album. I thought I'd pay your father a visit.
Look, here we all are.
Your Sweet 16 party, right?
Right. Oh, look at that beautiful chiffon dress.
Yeah, your brother Phil always did like to make a splash.
Be honest, I don't know if I can get all the way through it.
You mean it's not good?
Oh, it's awful. This book is totally unbelievable. The heroine, Vixen St. James, is this shallow Southern belle who's vain, self-centered, and a pushover for any man that crosses her path.
She's right. That is unbelievable.
It's work in pairs.
I don't know what the church is coming to. I thought it stopped with bingo.
That was no nun. I work for a consumer protection show. We've been warning people about this for months. Once these scamsters have your money in an envelope, they make a swift. You're practically a sister to me.
Yeah, well, sisters often lie, Rose, and even best friends take advantage of each other occasionally.
I don't think so.
Rose, you should. You're being very naive.
I'm not naive.
Yes, you are. You are being naive now. Don't you see? I'm stealing your money.
I
Be
know.
able to move it.
Dorothy, if the Egyptians built the pyramids, now we can move this toilet.
Fine. Get me 20,000 Hebrews and I'll have it out of here.
Oh, come on. Give me a minute. I'll think of something.
Love you to meet my roommates.
Something about a baby.
Oh my God, you mean it started?
She's having contractions.
Oh, don't worry about it, Mother. Go back to sleep. I'll call you when it graduates high school.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Come on, I'm taking you to the hospital right now.
Dorothy, this reminds me of when I took you to the hospital when you were in labor.
How so, Ma?
You were pregnant.
I loved her, and I thought she loved me. And then one day when I was 10 years old, she left. No goodbyes, no explanation, just disappeared. I was devastated. We Southerners don't forget things like that.
I would have died if I had ever caught my parents having sex.
What, you never walked in on them?
Once, but they were only playing leapfrog.
I remember a wedding reception early one June when the most beautiful bride I'd ever seen danced with her equally handsome father.
You were there?
The song was Tennessee Waltz, and you asked the band to play it twice so you could dance with your dad as long as possible. I stood in the back with the cake.
Poets, Rose, poets.
Oh, Sophia, did we wake you again?
No, I'm up because I'm feeling frisky. What say we get out the Ouija board?
Oh, Sophia, you already said that.
It's the middle of the night.
Anyway, this could be kind of important.
What?
Do you remember Mr. Livingston, the guy whose rear end you smacked? Well, my insurance company just called, and the guy is claiming he hurt his back, and he's threatening a lawsuit unless we settle out of court.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know, and I'm the one he's suing because it's mine.
Blanche, you didn't hear me out.
I heard all I have to hear.
Now, I know this is rough for you, but it's been rough for me, too. Now, you're going to listen. 9 years ago, I found out that my partner was embezzling from the family company. He was a clever man. All the signs pointed to me.
Bay, amazing things will start to happen. Oh, he'll become more attentive. He'll send you flowers. He'll be a prisoner of love, and you'll be the warden. And if you're interested, I have costumes for both of you to rent.
Blanche, first you tell my mother to sleep with a stranger, now this? I mean, what makes you...
Well, if your brother hadn't been stumped by long division...
Angela, about this Teddy.
It's a beaut, isn't it? No surprise, though.
He knows Phil like a book.
No charge.
You don't realize how much you care for a man until you see him streaking toward the earth trying to grab a bird.
He must really love you.
Well, I love him, too.
Who's for decaf?
Smooth.
Blanche, how could you do that? What did you mean when you told me that you could accept my being gay? Did you mean it was okay so long as I was celibate? It was okay so long as I don't fall in love? Doug is a part of the family now.
Why do men have nipples?
I have no idea.
You think it's because God has a sense of humor and isn't as uptight as the rest of us?
It's easier for you to say that, Sophia. It's not your brother who's getting married now.
Dorothy. Dorothy, look at you. You're as beautiful now as you were then. How have you been?
I love you! For holding this event on a night when my hang glider is in the shop and Congress is in recess and the lepers are on Geraldo. Go ahead, Rose.
Right, Dorothy. All right, now let's start the bidding at $5. Your mouth is watering now, Blanche. Keep living.
Herb, I'm aware of how important it is to make a good impression in court. Tell me, what do you think would move the jury more? Extra innings?
And his delivery,
All right, yeah, we get it. So what was he like in bed?
Once upon a time, on a beautiful spring day, Henny Penny was waking up from a nap under an oak tree when an acorn fell from the tree and hit her on the head. Funny, when I was a little girl in Sicily and they told this story, it would never seen it.
Children, kids, it's up to you. I mean, if you want to save us and not have us eaten by Foxy Loxy, applaud. I mean it. I mean, clap now if you want to see the goose and the chicken and the turkey live. Come on, put your little head.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
Every day it's something else. The hair gets gray, the eyes get weak.
And you shrink. It's scary. I mean, you measure your height against your arm span, and when they stop being equal, you're actually getting uncanny.
Do you mind?
Go right ahead. You won't find anything.
What I believe they refer to as a purse gun. And it's been recently fired.
I don't understand.
Susan, please, this is not the time or the place.
It's me, isn't it? I've driven you away. What if I dyed my hair? I'd even dye it that color. If they still make that color.
Susan, it's over, and you have to accept that. And a word of warning, I haven't graded your...
Truly
Hi, girls. How's it going?
Well, Angelo, what are you doing here? My brother wants to try out for the telethon.
I got a song I used to sing with my partner. We call ourselves Tino and Fino.
I'm warning you, Angelo, no political stuff. We don't want to have any trouble.
Time. Maybe you shouldn't be with strangers right now. You should be with family and friends. You know, people you know. You know, you're right. That would help. Right now, my life feels like one frightening, gaping maw ready to consume me. Did you ever feel like that? Every day.
And down, pass it around, 2 bottles of beer on the wall. Well, I'm off to bed.
2 bottles of beer? Rose, you got all the way to 2 bottles of beer and you quit?
Just drives you nuts, doesn't it, Dorothy?
Oh, what a wonderful ride home. I bet there must have been a
Dorothy, now remember, be nice to him. He hasn't had sex in over a year.
Look who I'm talking to.
Hello.
It's my mouthwash. The joke's on you. I don't use it.
Oh, Ma, come on. You're just being silly. Here, have some tea. It'll relax you. Walking around saying, how does she do it? Ma, you're cut off.
I had to see you today.
Miles?
Sweetheart, may I ask, what are you doing here? I didn't want you to see me like this.
I know. I just wanted a chance to say I love you. Oh, and there'll be no other man after.
After? After what?
Kill me? Yeah, I'm Sophia. Now only one little question remains. Who the hell are you?
I'm Sarah, Marvin's sister. Marvin, don't you have something for Sophia?
Here.
Hey, it talks.
In your own words, Mrs. Petrillo, the words of a beautiful, dignified person who's got a wild bod for a chick her age. What kind of person is your daughter?
She put me in a home. Well, excuse me for buying off the rack.
Sophie, is it really you? You're supposed to be dead.
Hold that thought. Rose, you forgot to tell these people I was alive, didn't you?
And I made the freaking punch and I made the freaking decorations.
It's a sign. I mean, you and Miles have been together for quite a while.
Look, I appreciate everybody's advice, but this isn't the way it's supposed to be. I'm not going to let some contest dictate what could be and should be the most important decision of my life. I'm much too smart for that.
Picture painted. I've always wanted to sit for a portrait. An artist could use his palette to bring out my distinctive personality, my southern fieriness. He could showcase my inner beauty.
Plus, he could cheat and paint your head to scale.
Dorothy and Lucas may not want you around.
Say, there's a fly in the Metamucil.
Well, Dorothy, it was very sweet of you to join me tonight. Am I safe in assuming that your first hardware convention is also your last?
Does a